So let us continue with yesterday's class. We'll launch Jupyter Notebook from Anaconda. Let's open yesterday's file. We named it try1.ipynb. ipynb basically stands for Interactive Python Notebook. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about Booleans today. I want to put a comment over here. So I'll go to cell type markdown and I'll put a comment as Boolean. If I press shift and enter, it will create a new cell on its own. Booleans are data types which can have two values, either true or false. Let's assign values, Boolean values to variables. This is one interesting way to assign values to two variables in the same line. So here it means A is equal to true and B is equal to false. Let's print the type of the variables. So we can say print type of A. It shows class bool, so which means A and B both are basically booleans. And if I want to see the value of B, right, print B, it says false because we assigned false value to B. Now let's try out some examples. What if we do A and B? And or are basically logical operators. I'll put that as a comment. Logical and. So what's the value of A and B, which is basically true and false? If you do true and false, it will result into false. Because if we go as far as the truth table is concerned, truth table for AND gate, say I have X, sorry, let's say I have A, B, A and B, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So A and B, that is 0 and 0 will be 0, 0 and 1 will be 0, 1 and 1, 1 and 0 will be 0, 1 and 1 will be 1. Now, instead of 0 and 1, let's say 0 is false and 1 is true. So the truth table now becomes true, sorry, false, false, true, and true. false, true, false, and true. So false and false is false, false and true is also false, true and false is also false, true and true is true. So from here we can say if we have A as true and B as false, then A and B results into false, which is the result that we are getting right now. Okay, what if we do A or B? A or B is basically logical or. If either of them is true, then the OR operator will give us true. OR operator will give us false only if both are false. Now let's try not of A. This is not of A. Since A is true, not of A will be false. What if we give a condition over here, A not equal to B? So it's basically a condition which asks uh, if A is not equal to B. Is A not equal to A is true and B is false, so they are not equal. So the answer should be true. Yeah, the answer is true. So that's about booleans. Uh, let's start with strings. I'll change the cell type to markdown. Now I want to have I want to have a string variable which is age, and let's say that represents hello, and I have another string variable which says world, and if I say print h comma w comma length of age, it will print hello world and 5. The length of age is 5, which is basically the length of the string. Yeah, it shows hello world 5. So if you have noticed here, single and double quotes are basically the same. It doesn't have a different meaning for single and double quotes. If I want to concatenate, I can create a new variable hw, which will be equal to h plus, I use a blank space, plus w, and this is basically how I do string concatenation. Now if I print HW, I should get hello world with a space in between hello and world. Yep. Now instead of printing it uh, in a single line, let's say I want to print it in sprintf style formatting. So what I'm basically trying to say is that, let's say I want to create a new variable hw12, which is basically equal to, and I'm going to print using placeholders. %s is basically a placeholder for string. So basically it means that the first argument in my hw12 will be a string, and then a space, and then I give another placeholder for a string. That means my second word will be a string, and the third one is %d, which means a integer. %s stands for string, %d stands for integer. And now I'm going to pass the arguments after a percentage symbol, and then a list of the variables. So my first argument should be a string, which is age. Second argument is a string again, which is w. And the third argument is a number, which is 12. This is what we call as sprintf style string formatting. And then we can print the value. So print hw12, and let's see the type of hw12. Yeah, so hw12 now holds this value hello space world space 12, and it says that the type of the variable hw12 is str, which stands for string. Now we'll try some examples, we'll try some methods which are most commonly used on strings. Let's say now I create a string variable which contains hello. The first string method that I'm going to use is s dot capitalize. If you write a few characters and then press a tab, it basically shows the matching method. Now if I don't put any characters and I simply put a tab, it will show the list of methods which I can use. Let's say I choose capitalize. So this will basically capitalize a string, which is pretty obvious. Let's try something else. S dot, again tab, and upper, which will basically convert the string into uppercase. And we'll try this. Okay, one thing to remember over here, the length of the string hello is 5, and if I do r just 7, it basically means that finally after doing the operation, the length of my string should be having 7 characters. Now in order to have 7 characters in hello, what it will do is it will basically write adjust to 7 characters. So in the front, it will add 2 more spaces. So it should be 2 spaces and then hello. So now the length becomes 7. That's how it will do write adjust. We'll see it in action, but before that we'll write some other functions. S dot center 7. So now um, one space will be padded in the beginning and one space will be padded at the end, and the length of hello is anyways 5, so it will be 7 again. The length of S dot center will be 7 again. And let's say if we want to replace some character, we'll put the source character first. So let's say we want to replace L with Y, or let's say we want to replace L with YZ. So this is for right adjust, this is for centering, and this one is for replacing. And the last method that I'm going to try is s dot strip. S dot strip will basically remove or strip leading and trailing spaces or white spaces. S doesn't have, or hello doesn't have any white spaces anywhere, either in the beginning or the end. So what I'll do is I'll pass another string which will have some spaces. Now world has got some spaces in the beginning and some spaces at the end. So dot strip is going to remove all these leading and trailing white spaces. Now let's see in action what it does. The first one shows it's a built-in method capitalize of string object. What I did is I missed out the brackets. Since it's a method, I have to use the brackets. You need to remember this, that when you write a method, you have to put opening and closing braces after you put the name of the method. Let's run it again. Okay, so when I say s dot capitalize, it will convert the first letter into a capital letter. Rest of the things will remain same. So H here comes in capital. If I say upper, it converts all the letters into capital letters. Now when I say R just, it has two spaces in front of hello. So 2 and length of hello is 5. So in total it becomes 7. So the total length of of the final string is 7. For center, it has put one space in between and one space at the end. So 2 and 5 is again 7. So for center, you can pad one space in the beginning and one at the end. That's how you do center. For replace, I have asked it to replace L with YZ. So wherever it finds a L, it represents L with YZ. And for the last one, I asked it to strip the spaces in the beginning of the word and the end of the word, so it doesn't have any spaces anymore. Okay, thanks for watching.